Hi everyone, Post DM here. Just a quick little thing. I'm sure you can kind of hear it in my voice here, but I was very sick during the recording of this episode. So please be warned, my voice sounds terrible. During several points, I had to mute myself because I was coughing a lot. So just be warned, thank you, and enjoy. Hello, everybody. Alrighty, so little recap for last time. Is everything loading right? There we go, everything loaded. Yay. Last time you guys stayed the night in a hotel. With across from the crime scene. I assume you guys stayed up all night watching over the crime scene, correct?
Yeah,
I believe that was
And
the
I was-
plan. Yeah, we were going to go nocturnal.
I was still planning to move around
Mm-hmm.
a lot and continual walking watch, and then we'll just sleep during the day like we're both used to individually.
So, then it is night. I believe your room was right with a view to the crime scene. So facing towards the first skull. In which case I forget this one.
Yeah, because the tavern didn't have the rooms. We were staying in the inn, right?
Yes. You were staying at Miss Maxie's Inn. The tavern was
No.
just like a drinking hole.
And our window pretty much faced, like, north-northwest.
Yeah, it faced towards the top skull.
Yeah. Nice, can hop out on them roofs. You like it.
Mm-hmm. So what do you guys want to do? In the cover of night.
With
I
that,
still like to wander the streets looking for something that smells semi-undead.
with our room facing in that direction, can we hop out onto the roof of the building next to us?
Yes, you can. Since you are above the roof and you have a clear view, yes. It's a little bit of a drop, but not much. It's not like a whole floor of a building.
It's alright, I got spider climb.
Well, for those of you who don't have spider climb,
Should I follow you onto the roof, or should I maintain the ground level?
Well, I'm thinking of it as just mainly a way out. That if the tavern keeper, like if we need an alibi, the tavern keeper will say that we never left.
Ah, perfect. Let me down.
Yeah, so it's just a way out initially. I expect I'll end up on the streets, but sort of bit by bit.
mm-hmm.
You want to head out now? We can start searching for a scent, unless you think he's going to come specifically back here.
Well, I'm guessing Crime Scene 2 doesn't exist yet.
Nope, not yet. Nope. The reason why you all can see it is because I forgot that we were starting at this point in time. So, yeah, I was going to create it afterwards, but that was my mistake. So, yeah, Crime Scene 2 doesn't exist yet. The second skull that is towards the inn does not exist as of right now.
Okay, yeah, I didn't want to...
Just like, forget about that marker.
I honestly didn't see it. I'm still looking for the map, but
So Nox's primary interest, really, would be around that four-way junction, halfway between the inn Miss Maxie's and the first crime scene, right outside Willie's General Store, because you would see a lot of comings and goings and traffic from there.
That is one of the main roads, that bit there. It is one of the main passageways in and out of the city. Because that passageway goes directly out to the rest of Ulv.
So Nox's suggestion would be that if they do loops around blocks, everything circles back to that junction on like a regular basis. So we almost end up making like a spiral kind of mandala pattern, like circling out around one block to there, then circling out around another, and always coming back to that central point.
You're wise, Druid. That sounds like a good plan.
I have my moments. Thing is, then also you would get used to various scents and notice if something changes. We'll stake out our territory.
Now, do I be ready for fight in a moment's notice, or do I be ready for a random guard at a moment's notice?
Are you on the ground?
I'm assuming we're gonna. I guess that is our question. I'm fairly athletic, but I can't say I can walk on the walls quite like you can. Just kind of looking over there, like, not gonna question that.
Do you think you would notice them coming if you were in a different form? Time enough to avoid them, at least.
Do you think I would get a round's warning if they're about to turn a corner or something?
What do the guards wear? Are they in like clanky armor, or can they move pretty quietly?
They're more in like studded leather armor. So most of the soldiers wear like studded leather. The soldiers that guard like the gates and like higher ranking officers amongst the town guards, they wear more like full iron plate. The detectives that were looking at the crime scene before, they mostly wear just like plain clothes. They're nice. They're like nicer than like normal like everyday dress wear, but they're more in like plain clothed.
So only one type of knight would make one type of guard / knight would make enough noise really to be noticed significantly in advance, unless they were talking.
Oh, you know what? Why don't I just do this? He'll transform into his hybrid form. It looks a little painful, but it's fine. And then he'll put a hood up. A hybrid form is thankfully just a little bit hairier, different nose shape, and some sharp teeth and claws. It's not the most obvious thing from a distance. Still gives me some weapons if we were to be attacked, but
yeah, and if you're spotted and you're hooded in the dark, it will give you time to potentially shift.
And then by the time we get close, we can just call him crazy for seeing anything.
Yeah. And Nox would have a hood and a cloak up, and he would likely follow a similar route, but probably scout along the rooftops potentially, because he's got very good vision, and like exceptionally good vision in the dark, and he can move confidently along the rooftops
So
to
as
have a
you guys,
different vantage point.
as you guys scout about, you see a lot of things. The slums are no strangers to prostitution, back alley deals, things like this. Things that aren't really of interest for this type of case. You guys kind of stroll a little far away, kind of around this point over here. I'll move the map for when that updates.
To the north of the crime scene.
To the north of the crime scene at that kind of junction.
Mm-hmm.
When you encounter your first patrolling guard that is coming up the street towards you.
All right. The moment I see them, I'll stand up from my crouching, just searching for smells stance, and start shifting back.
Mm-hmm. By the time he reaches you, he kind of looks at you guys and is like, "What are you two doing out here this late?"
Does he notice Nox?
Well,
who's like
I was
on the
going to
top
say,
of
I did say Nox would be crouching on rooftops.
Oh, sorry.
So basically, Nox would be crouched on the building, literally the top of the skull of the first crime scene is on that corner, in as shadowed bit as he can. Keeping an eye on Fenrir.
Then, sorry, he says, "What are you doing out here so late at night?"
Enjoying the cold night air.
Mm-hmm. Be
Says the
careful
man
if
with the
I were
pocket.
you. Strange things have been happening lately.
The concern is appreciated.
He kind of rears around the corner going along your building and kind of patrolling around the block of where the first crime scene was.
Alright. I just remembered that one of the few things I can't do is continuously change back and forth. So I guess I'll be like this until we fight.
Is it a bit like a druid with their limited shifting?
Actually, yeah, because it's like twice per day, but literally no time limit.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I was like that rarely comes up because you transform as an action and you're done for the day, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh no, I only get two, so whoops. I guess I'll just need to waste my first action.
Mm-hmm. Alright. As you patrol for the rest of the night, nothing happens, and you return back to the hotel. Oops. I just hit a thing of Aquaphor that fell down. And eventually you return back to the hotel as it begins to become dawn. As the sun is rising and as you guys are sneaking back into your hotel rooms, Nox, as you're about to close the window, you hear a woman scream in the distance. Not far away, but also not like immediately close to you.
Nox would look back over his shoulder towards Fenrir and then pretty much dive out the window in the direction that he thought it was coming from.
As you dive out the window, you jump across the roof of the building and you see a gentleman slumped down, like bright purple face, completely unresponsive, like slunched over against a wall.
Not.
Was I in the room at the time?
Yes.
Uh, did he hear it too? Or
Yes, you both heard it.
okay. I guess he's just gonna take the human way out and unlock the door and run downstairs and out the front door.
I mean, in all fairness, that's a good alibi as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were seen leaving the building after the scream.
Whereas you
He's
were
going to
never
leave the
seen.
building normally and probably get there a tad bit later.
Yeah.
As since this is quite close to where the where one of the town gates are, guards come rushing into the crime scene. Nox, you get the feeling that if you stay on this rooftop, you might get spotted and it might not be a good idea.
Can I have a very quick survey of the area? Can I see the woman who...
Yes, so the woman is basically standing right at, like, the entrance, right as, like, the tunnel into this, sort of inner, I forget what it's called, inner courtyard.
Courtyard?
Yeah, that's the word. Courtyard. Into the courtyard. She's literally standing right at, like, the entrance to it. There is some blood splatter, but just spots of it. Like I said, his face is, like a purplish. I'm gonna take back that it was bright purple. I'm gonna say it's more of like a whitish purple. It's like there's no color, but there's like a bit of purple still in the face.
Alright.
Kind of like asphyxiation.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
Yeah. He's slumped over. His clothes are completely on. Nothing looks torn. Nothing looks slashed. The pools of blood that are next to him are not enough that he would have died, but are a pretty serious amount of blood, regardless of that fact.
So I'm thinking I might be... One, this might have happened a while ago and the girl only screamed because she found it. And two, I might be a tad late even considering that. But the moment Fenrir arrives, he's going to immediately start looking for something trackable, a scent, or...
I was going to say,
otherwise.
from the roof, are there any visible tracks in like the mud or the dirt or anything?
There is none. Fenrir, as you arrive, the guards have already blocked off people from entering into the alleyway to the courtyard.
He seems obviously frustrated. But it's fine.
Nox, by this time, you feel like you should be leaving.
Yeah, he would probably back over the crest of the roof, get a good look at the woman just before he disappears, and hop back across.
Roll me a perception, or roll me a history check on the woman's face.
Oh, good God. It is hoping. Nope, that is a 3.
Alright, you do not remember. The woman's face looks familiar, but you don't know from where.
Okie dokie. If he gets a chance to pass by Fenrir or near to Fenrir, he would say, there's a woman there. See if you can pick up her scent so we can find her later. She seems to be the one who found him. Maybe should have seen something.
This time I'll try going around to the area most likely she would have come from to pick up a woman's scent. Probably just take a look at her and see if I can.
Which would be at the entrance.
Yeah.
As you roll me, what is it? Perception?
Sure.
I believe it's perception. Roll me perception. It's scent, so I believe you have advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$21.
21. So you are easily able to pick up her scent.
Does it smell familiar?
No.
Okay. Once I get that, I suppose I'll get out of the hair. We're gonna be spending enough time around this that I don't need to be suspected.
So where are you gonna go? Are you gonna go back into the inner city, or are you gonna?
I'll go meet with Nox. We need to go refresh our inner city rooms if we want to keep them, and at least grab our stuff up otherwise.
Yeah, Nox would circle around and head back in through the window so as not to be seen re-entering the building
So I'll meet him
after
in
never
the,
having been seen leaving it.
yeah, I'll meet him in the one room.
Okay.
All right, I found your scent. I suppose we need to get our things from the inner city, but what after?
Well, yes, I don't think keeping a room there is too important at the moment. Things certainly seem to be happening around this area. Might be worth staying a little longer in this place.
I have to admit, I was hoping to get some rest this day, but seems we just missed it, and any time we spend off of the trail might make it cold.
Well, it's been, what, 48 hours since the last attack. I think it's safe to assume that there won't be another attack for about that duration again. So, I can go and get our stuff if you need rest. It'll only take me an hour or so to go and get it and come back, and then I will also rest.
All right.
We can investigate the crime scene tomorrow night when it's a little quieter.
Thank you, Druid.
And yeah, Nox would.
Alright. As you go into the inner city, as you go through, there are campaign posters everywhere. After a while, once you hit the square, you see one of the campaign posters, and you recognize who the woman is. It is one of the people running for mayor.
I'm gonna react outside the city.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. What was she doing in the slums?
Allery Dana.
Valerie Dana?
Allery.
Allery, sorry. Okie dokie. Nox might... If there was, like, loads of these flyers around, Nox might take one as he's passing back through towards... after he's... Well, first he's got to collect the stuff from the coin.
Mm-hmm. As you enter into the coin, it's same as ever. Quiet, busyness. The receptionist goes, "Oh, you guys never returned last night."
My apologies. We got sidetracked talking to some of the guards about the unfortunate occurrences outside of the wall. Now
Oh.
it seems there's been another.
Oh yes, it's all the talk of the town. I would recommend you stay out of the slums. If I were you. Will you be renewing your room?
Well, it wouldn't hurt to keep having one here, for sure. Though we are currently staying elsewhere.
I see. I will put you
But-
down for another day then.
Thank you kindly.
I believe it was
but
3
he would-
silver.
Yeah, I'll deduct that.
I believe.
And-
let me just double check that. Yeah, it was 3 silver.
Yeah, sounds about right. So I'll deduct that.
I remember it wasn't that much money, but it was a very awkward amount of money for the werewolf.
Yes, because it was silver.
And it was.
And
Yeah,
if it had
enough
paid in
silver
gold, it'd have got
for it to be
changed.
rude to pay it in copper.
Yeah.
But
So
also,
Nox was
yeah.
like, I got this. So, yeah, Nox would pay up, but he would still go and retrieve their goods and equipment,
Mm-hmm.
and then slowly make his way back to the slums. And he would, like I say, he would try to pick up one of those flyers on the way to show
Mm-hmm.
Fenrir
And
when
you
he
do
waits.
so. You grab a flyer. This flyer sheds a little more light into Allery's campaign. She is running on the premise of more rights and more protection towards the slums. She's looking to raise up the slums to, instead of being a drunken wasteland, to become a part of civil society by giving them jobs and whatnot.
Okay. Also, if he happens to pass any other flyers for campaigns and stuff for other people running, he would grab those also.
Alright.
Just one of each.
Korn Zypher is running on the basis of he's basically a rich boy. He is running for essentially the wealthier within the city.
So, like, exclusivity
Sort
kind of
of.
thing.
Seiran Vampiros is is running
What was the first name, sorry?
Seiran, Sarya. Sorry, Sierra.
Sierra Vampiros. That is a red herring. It's a bloody good one. Okay, yep.
She
Carry on.
is running on the basis that the town guards should be more bolstered due to the fact that the town guards aren't really that militarized, even though they're literally a border town. She wants to make them more militarized so that if anything were to cross from the uncharted land, they can defend themselves.
Okay, so you basically got equality, snobbishness, and
Also, we
security.
literally crossed from the uncharted land, so
And now people are dying, yeah. At least someone died before we got here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, he would take them back to his room and read them for a little bit while He settles back in, and then he would also get some sleep himself.
All right. I assume you take a long rest?
Yeah. He would prop his longbow.
Spent a full day like doing 8 hours of travel with another 8 hours of random stuff between,
Yeah.
and then another full night walking around.
Yeah, definitely need
We're
a long rest.
tired. We're probably up for 24 hours.
Yeah. But Nox would prop his longbow against the back of the door so that if it were to be opened, it would like clatter over.
All right. You all take a long rest. At this point, by the time you wake up, the sun is beginning to set.
Just how Nox likes it.
Haven't heard anything about anything. The hotel's not. The inn is not the quietest of places. There's a lot of banging and beds moving. But you wake up, your longbow's still in the same place.
Sorry, I missed that.
Fenrir gets up and yawns. Oh, I needed that.
You and me both. That was a long day. What'd you make of this? And he would hand him the flyer with Allery on.
You mean the woman wasn't just some prostitute?
No, quite the opposite. She's running for mayor.
What was she doing in our town?
Well, from what I can gather of her campaign, she's trying to support the slums and build them up to be more and be better. Instead of this, well, slum.
Do you think it was targeted, or do you think it was coincidence?
I find it awfully convenient that she happened to be the one to find it. It would discredit her somewhat. And I mean, if she's trying to support the slums, what better way to discredit her than to show how unredeemable it is? That said, there's another person running who's trying to support the town guard. Which, interestingly, with murders on the rise, perhaps it would work in their favor.
Certainly would be a shame to have more guards roaming around. But
I know, this
do you
close to
think
the
they're
uncharted lands. We've seen what lingers there.
In your memory, you hear a roar of one of the beasts.
PTSD,
the way I was taking it was like,
PTSD.
man, I'm the things that linger there.
Well, there is that, and I mean, technically, I think Nox is from there, but let's yeah.
There
details.
is some more monstrous beasts as well in there.
Yeah.
Like the worm snake.
They tell horror stories about sneaking in through your window. But I suppose that would be a bane to her cause, or it could cause her bane. How do we know which?
Well, perhaps it would be worth speaking to this Allery if she'll allow it. She may have seen more than she realizes. Anything that she could tell us could be beneficial. If she's so familiar with the slums, fact of whether or not it was a familiar face to her. She may know the victim, she may know the perpetrator.
Fenrir will have the slightest eyebrow raise.
You hear a
when
knock
Nox
at the door.
starts talking to someone.
Sorry, what was the last of that?
You hear a
Fenrir?
knock at the door.
He raises an eyebrow slightly at Nox suggesting to talk to someone. But he'll look over there and be like, "What is it?"
Open the door.
Is that the guard that we spoke to?
That's the guard that Fenrir spoke to.
Marcus Williams. Nox would literally
In that
say,
case, he'll go over and open the door.
yeah.
You open the door, and he stands in the doorway and goes, "Are you gonna let me in?"
Nox wouldn't have his hood up or anything at this point, because he's in his room.
Sure, I suppose.
He
Fenrir's not
enters.
used to having a room.
He enters,
As
shuts
such.
the door, and he casts a quick spell upon the room. As the spell completes, there is sort of a shimmer across all the walls, the door, and the windows, as
Fenrir
well as the
freaks out like
floor.
something unexpected might happen.
And he goes,
Nox would sit back, cross his arms, and grin.
"This way we won't be overheard. This place is known for spilling secrets." You two
Sigh.
have now been at both crime scenes.
Well, yes, we're searching for the people doing it.
I
Why?
would like to point out the first murder happened before we were in town.
I am well aware of that fact. But why are you searching for a killer?
Occupational hazard, I suppose.
Bueller has me on a mission. We need to find this person. He's going to do much more harm than just killing a few civilians.
Well, we have definitive evidence now that it was a vampire who has been killing these people.
Well, the person who this entity
If you are
we're
confident
tracking
enough to point us in direction,
Two people talking at once. Nox, go.
The person who we are tracking serves an entity who is well known for having various creatures in their employ. So we have reason to believe that this could be related to the individual we are seeking to eliminate.
What were you going to say, Fenrir?
you're able to point us in a direction. We'll be out of your hair, and so will they.
I wish I had a direction. This vampire is not like one which we've seen before. It does not leave a scent. For us to follow. And he looks directly at Fenrir.
Haven't been able to get so close to confirm it, but I thought it was strange I couldn't pick it up even from a distance. Surrounding the whole place, it's like he teleported away.
Yes.
Or he's using magic to cover his tracks.
As far as we know, the only arcane bit of it is the silence spell.
That's why we heard nothing until someone discovered the scene.
Yes.
I was out all night looking for a scent, and there was none to find.
I recommend you not do that. I was told by one of the guards last night that they saw someone suspicious in the slums, searching around.
I have to admit, I have trouble being inconspicuous in towns. It's not where I'm used to staying.
I would recommend you do not do such.
Surely it is in your favor that you have help finding these, surely.
Yes, but if I have people sneaking around every corner, my actions may be called into question. In which case, whatever you bring me is useless.
We are members of the Adventurers Guild. Hire us. That will legitimize our cause.
Yes, I would have to do that. Therefore, don't do anything else until I bring you the proper form. There are forms that I have to fill out to be able to make it for me to have the ability to hire you.
Alright, then, it's a deal. We will keep a low profile in the meantime, so that once we have this form, we can act more freely.
Yes. Also, it's best to stay to the day. I know the night might be preferable, but the guards we have at night are more well trained than the guards we have during the day.
Well,
Especially in the slums.
We were hoping
Daytime.
to catch it in the act. I suppose that's a bit presumptuous.
With the silent spell, it's made even their jobs harder. If the silent spell wasn't in play, they would be on the murderer at the very point at which he draws his knife. Or
I still
whatever
question us
weapon
being fired.
they use.
Is there nowhere we could check being unaffiliated with the law? I don't plan to stay in this town.
We could speak to Allery and see what she saw, and we could do that in broad daylight without too much suspicion.
Unfortunately,
expect to be
that
able to
will
do-
reign impossible. As she is connected with this crime now, she has been taken to headquarters to be questioned as to why she was in the alleyway and found the body. She is under much more investigative stress since she is also running for mayor.
Convenient how she was the one who found it.
We believe she knew him. We do not know I do not know as of yet if they discovered how she knew him.
Well, should you
Something-
More
need any
drama than I'm
help,
used to from a town.
Something to linger on for food for thought. As of right now, all of the bodies so far have been men. Around the age of 100. Except for the human the other day, who was around 30.
how many have there been? I was only aware of 2.
A couple months ago, there were 3 more. All
I
elven.
see.
They stopped abruptly. And now they started up again. It's partially the reason why I transferred over to this town.
Were any of the candidates for the mayoral election absent during the time that these murders ceased?
No, they are all prominent figures within the town.
Do we know of anything of what our target was doing a couple of weeks ago? We know he arrived here, or he was here. Not necessarily. He could have been here long before then. A month ago.
Well, perhaps it was his arrival that stopped the killings. Maybe they sensed another in their midst.
They could have, in which case they may have either replaced him or teamed up with them.
My suspicion would be that he put a stop to the killings so as not to draw attention to the town he was staying in. Maybe if the killings have started again, he's moved on.
It could be true, but
This is why I don't like searching for someone.
at the time of the original 3 murders months ago, another mayoral election was happening. They stopped around the time that the vote was cast.
Were any of the same people running for mayor?
Only one person.
Let me guess. And who would that be?
Soria Vampiros.
She's pushing to improve the guard, is she not?
She is. As of
Would it
this
not
moment, she is one of the high officers of the guard.
Would it not be within... I mean, I apologize, of course, so as not to accuse anyone of anything outright, but you understand. However, if she is pushing for greater support for the guard, would it not be in her best interest for things like this to be happening, which the guard cannot track, in order to get the support of the people to prevent it?
Unfortunately, it has not worked in her favor. Since the crimes have not been solved, and because she ran last time, they are blaming her and her guards that they are incompetent to solving even the simplest of murders. I have also met her.
Small-minded humans, it's often...
And she does have a scent. I can't confirm that.
So, going back to what we do know, magic and the murders, do you have any within your guard who can detect magic?
There are. We are all taught with a basic level of detection of magic, although it is probably not as powerful as an adventurer's.
Well,
I'm not impressed by any magic at all. I'm used to it exploding in everyone's face.
if you do not wish for us to be actively out on the streets, I could certainly remain in this room, which so far seems relatively central to these attacks, and focus my efforts on detecting magic. If you kept a guard with us, as soon as I sensed anything being cast, I could direct them to it.
Unfortunately, there's an issue with that theory. There were 3 murders. Tonight is the vote, and tonight there will be another one. If the murders happen again, they will happen within the city itself. As last time. Last time, it happened 2 in the slums, 1 in the intercity.
For such an event going on, would it truly be unusual for us to be in the area?
No.
Must we stay locked away?
Honestly,
If I stay within sight of
There's
you, I
nothing
could
else.
certainly keep my detection up and warn you if it was going to happen, but it depends if they want it to be a public spectacle.
that, and the fact that this time they were sloppy. They
They leave signs of an object.
left signs of a ritual, which makes me believe that the person who casted the silence cannot inherently cast it, but needs to cast it at a ritual
Over time.
over time.
Where in the city would they have time to prepare for such a thing?
I do not know.
Where is
Druid,
the election to take place? The courtroom?
In the mayor's house.
Who would have access to that?
The gods. And the townspeople.
But none of the other mayoral candidates.
The mayoral
They wouldn't.
cabinet candidates are taken to the mayor's office, where they are to
We don't
wait
expect
for the
another one to be
results.
killed.
Well, I don't like to sling accusations, but if the guards are allowed in there, the only mayoral candidate who would have time to prepare a ritual in advance within that building would be Saria.
I think you misunderstood. No, wait, I get your line of thinking. Never mind.
On another matter, if you are truly desperate to find out how Allery knew the victim, I could help with that.
I hate to ask this, but how?
Earl also looks confused because he hasn't seen this yet. Actually,
No, he hasn't.
he experienced, but he did not see it.
I was subjected to many experiments at the hands of the saviors. And one such path that led me down ended up with me being sired as a Dampier. Though, before you worry, not the blood-drinking kind. I feed on dreams, and as such, it gives me the ability to enter people's minds and see the truth for what it really is. No harm comes to them in the process. I wouldn't be much of a Dampier if I killed everyone I fed from. However, I have gained a much greater ability of controlling it over the last years, let's say. And as such, I can use it to gain information, help people remember, or, when required, make them remember. You can't lie inside your own mind. And he would just grin ever so slightly at the end.
I cannot get you within the interrogation room.
Is she being held in that room permanently?
For now.
Is that...
What I can do give me 1 second. Okay.
If you could get me within the building, I could get myself into that room.
I cannot do that either. What I can do is go to the library go to the library. I forgot what I called the library. Athena's library. I will bring her to the library. Then we will do your plan.
Now we're talking. I love having a direction.
If you
Feels
have
like
her
the
permission,
open
it will
wide.
be easier, but not necessary.
I will
She
get
has
her
had
to
time
come.
to comply. Very well. We will wait for you in the library.
Yes. Do look at the library a bit too. The library was quite fascinating when I first came here.
Nox
I have
would,
to admit, I have not been much of a reader. I don't
Nox
have
would
very many books right
nod and say, "Is there anything else you wish of us in the meantime?"
No. That is all.
What time shall we meet you?
In a couple hours, I should have her free.
Very well. We will head there.
He touches the door and the shimmer fades away.
As soon as the shimmer fades, Nox just stops talking and changes his direction to, "Thank you for stopping by."
It was my pleasure. As he leaves the door and he closes it.
And then he sort of gives a knowing look to Fenrir, like, we finally getting somewhere.
So is everyone outside of my land's able to use magic?
Oh yes. Only the Uncharted Land's corrupted. Everywhere else it flows freely. And as he says it, like, he would just sort of wave his hand, like, wave his right hand up in front of his face, and he would just use cantrips. He would produce a flame in his hand and then use control flames to, like, weave it in and out of his fingers, and then just snuff it out.
Oh, perhaps I should fear these commoners a bit more if they can all do things like that.
It is not as common as you think. It takes a great deal of schooling and learning to be able to do it, although some do have natural talent.
This original question, everyone is if everyone could do it.
Oh, everyone has the potential, but some, even after many years of learning, can't do more than light a candle or warm a cup of tea, whereas others could burn down a city if they so wished. But obviously with power you are taught control, and anyone who is seen as a risk would be kept an eye on or otherwise imprisoned. I dare say you have some magical
Just like training with the sword.
Blood. Absolutely. It's just time and dedication. It is a tool to be used, just as our senses and our dexterity with weapons.
All right.
But you will find me considerably more formidable outside of your lands. And he would just grin.
I don't doubt. What would you like to do for our few hours of preparation?
I don't know about you, but I need to eat. Breakfast? Well, dinner. If we say breakfast, they might get suspicious. We could always head into the city to eat. The food here is cheap, but probably a bit more risky.
It takes until the end for him to be entirely certain what kind of eating Nox is talking about.
As you
It
hear
was
bed
really
creaking above you.
Yeah, Nox would glance upwards and then say, definitely the inner city. Plus, it's a good reason to go out for a walk, and a good reason if anyone asks us where we're going. I suggest we head back to the beautiful coin for a meal.
Good plan.
All right. And you all head out there to the beautiful coin. As you are, when you enter the beautiful coin, the receptionist goes, "Oh, why, hello, fellas. Y'all here for our dinner specials?"
That we are.
Very well. And she escorts you both to a table. And everything's going like they did before. People are talking about the murder again. And just,
Mechanical question.
Mhm.
Is Fenrir part of the adventure skills?
Ooh.
No.
I guess I'll just be your assistant.
You are
You
my
are
humble
not
sidekick.
registered.
Fun.
It's alright, turn into a dog, you can be my pet.
Sadly, this is one of the worlds where werewolves can't turn into regular dogs.
Yes.
Ah.
Big
Nox can turn into a
giant
regular
beast
dog,
boy.
why can't you?
So you can turn into a scary monster and you can call him your dog, but
Yeah, I'd like
To
to
be
see
honest,
that.
if
Put a
if
collar on
Nox
that,
came
take that for a
along,
walk.
yeah, if Nox came along looking like he did, and then called this like huge slavering beast his dog, people probably would just accept it without too many questions, but
Or
hurry
you'd
away.
be arrested on the spot.
Yeah, they could try.
Oh,
I like
God.
where we're going. Let's just start standing up for ourselves. Random murder.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for that kind of thing, and this is not it.
All right. Is there anything you guys want to do beforehand? Because you still have some time. I'll say you've eaten. I forget how much that cost.
It was. I'm pretty
One
sure that
meal
was like
is 1 silver, so it's 2 silver
cool.
for the both
Again,
of you.
Nox will handle the silver.
Yeah.
I would deduct that.
Are you gonna have an ale again or any liquor?
No, he wants to be clear-headed because he's going to be going into someone else's head.
Imagine
So,
that. Drunk Nox.
invading someone's sober mind in just, oh god, the chaos. We might have to do that on like a Yule event or something.
There is a Yule coming up because it's November.
So
Who knows if
we've
we'll
got a
be
couple
still in this campaign or not.
So if we've got a couple of couple of hours before the library.
At this point, you have like an hour.
Oh, okay. Once we've eaten Nox, I was torn between going to the smithy or the mage supply. Crop growth, also a small variety of farming tools. That doesn't actually sound that useful. I just remember one of the things being that the blacksmith was looking for an apprentice, and while I couldn't necessarily see how that would be relevant to anything, I'm still curious.
I mean, we got an hour. We could just go check real quick.
Yeah.
It will be kind of awkward us asking about it and clearly not being.
Interested.
Yeah.
Um.
But like, we can go in, look at his stuff, and just make conversation.
In all fairness, though, it says that his weapons and armor used to be known across the kingdom, so we could literally just play the avid tourists, like saying that we just happened to be in the town and recognize the name.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that wouldn't
Yeah,
be
let's
too
do that.
unusual.
As
TM,
you
how close are we to
enter,
that kind of time of the month?
huh?
Time of the month.
We don't got moons in this world, so it's just gonna be that time of the month. Is that like weeks away, or is that like?
Yeah, it's about a week away.
Okay, cool.
You're keeping track of that.
Then yeah.
Yeah, you have some time. Before. As you enter into the blacksmith shop, you enter it, and as you enter the shop, you notice that there's a lot less weaponry and a lot more of like household things. Like there's nails, there's hinges, there's like parts to doors. There's a lot less weapons. As you get to the back of the store, you see there is a case of like a sword and a suit of armor, but that's really like the only weapons in the shop.
Yeah, it says he hasn't done it for a couple of years. Can I can't even pretend I would know what I'm looking for. But can I inspect the sword and the armor to try and gauge the quality of it?
Yeah. How could I have you check this? My question here.
I could try doing that too.
I mean, it depends if it's magical, I guess Arcana, or if it's not, Investigation. But I mean,
I think it would be more of an insight check.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
More of a wisdom check. Yeah, I'm thinking more insights.
All right.
For a check.
15.
These are very high quality. Near like magical, arcane quality weaponry.
Okay, Nox has got those whole sparkly eyes things going on. He has a great respect for any crafters. Say that again, sorry?
What is it, Druid?
I did not expect to find such an exquisite craftsman in a small town like this.
Fenrir, as you see it, you're like, yeah, but it doesn't look that interesting. As you see that the sword and the armor, as you get close to it, you feel kind of disgusted by it.
Is it silver?
I actually say that he does have a bunch of strange things here, and he's holding a door hinge, like he's never seen one before. Not by itself.
That's standard blacksmithing, but I am surprised he's lowered himself to that when he's capable of such.
Oh,
but
I didn't notice I had guests. As he kind of like stomps in a little bit. He's a more heavy set individual. He's not elven. He is human. like thick beard, tuft of like black hair at the top. He's wearing like gloves as if he just got off the forge. And he's like, "What can I do you with?"
So Nox would look at the display in the case, look at the blacksmith, and do that a couple of times, and then just say, I had no idea humans could attain such skill in their lifetime. I thought that was only for the dwarves and the elves.
Yeah, well, if you train hard enough and you got enough skill, you can do anything.
But I hear you set it aside.
Let's set aside more, taking more care of the needs of the town. Not many adventurers pass through here anymore, not since the fall of No Man's Land and the Howling
Yes, I can
Rage.
imagine.
Let's look at him like
That would
we're about the
gain
same
his
age.
attention.
Like we're like he'll look at him and just for perspective, we're about the same age. You remember the fall of No Man's Land?
Well, I was but a child at that point.
Wasn't that like 100 years ago?
Yes, it was, but, things happened in the Kingdom of Ulv during the events of No Man's Land fall and a couple years afterwards. Time didn't, well, flow correctly, and odd things tended to happen.
It's fascinating. I had no idea.
And they say my home's weird.
It's
Is
why...
that anything to do with all the technology?
It's exactly why there's so much technology.
Fascinating. And you can just see Nox's like cogs whirring in his head.
Don't go
And then
try
again-
replicating it, you hear?
Oh no, you don't mess with time.
It
I
has
already
its
know about strange time warps myself.
consequences.
Hundreds of years old, yet I've only been in this body a certain amount. And he sort of says it almost absent-mindedly as his eyes unfocus,
Precisely.
and then he sort of snaps back to it. So I think I know what you mean.
So we saw information floating around. You were searching for an apprentice. You found one?
No, I did not. Most people in the town don't really care for me and my blacksmithing on account that really only the guards use any weapons and armor from my shop. And most of the buildings and things are intact. There have been no wars lately to cause anyone to really fix or repair large buildings or whatnot. So most of the hinges and stuff that are here on this shop have been here for quite some time.
And you're still surprised that only the guards carry weapons.
There are a
As
couple
I-
people outside of the guards that carry some weapons, yes. But not as... they don't order as many as the guards do. The guards typically order about 25 a month. Normal ordinary folk will order like a dagger. And then nothing else for a while.
Had I the time to dedicate to the craft, I would have opted for the position myself. I do like crafting things of any kind, but to craft something like this, I know I have the lifespan to achieve it, but sadly, right now, I have more important things that require my attention.
Yes.
Fenrir very carefully puts down the hinge and is like, not my thing.
Ah,
Okay,
metal
well,
not
seems
your
curious.
sticking point. This
Sticking
armor
point?
here is lined in silver and plated with platinum. It was my finest work.
He like inches away, like he just doesn't want to touch it.
Who is it made for?
Interesting.
Originally, it was made for the king at the time. He adorned it once with the sword in hand, same thing, lined with silver, plated with platinum. After he passed, in his will, he willed it back to me, the craftsman, and I've put it in a case for his honor.
Impressive. I would imagine it would pull in quite the sale should you ever sell it, but it sounds like you have quite the attachment.
He was a great king, boosted our nation a lot before he passed. Most of the technology you see today is due to his efforts of preserving what we had when time was shifted.
I see.
Yes. Anyways, can I do with you all a sword or a dagger or kitchen knives? Hinges, nails.
I would potentially be interested in some smaller items, but I would have an odd request that I was somehow involved in their making.
Oh?
I have a magic that allows me to shrink things down. He would pull out the little hut that he's got, and he would sit it on the palm of his hand and show the blacksmith. This is adorned with an array of makeshift weapons and beds and all that kind of manner of things that allow for a safe place to stay in an emergency. However, the caveat of the magic is I can only shrink down things that I myself have had a hand in making. The windows were a challenge, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Yes, that would have created far more skill than creating a blade.
Well, it has no real door hinges, on the fact that I have never been able to forge hinges myself, and there are certain things that would be useful of metal. A cooking pot, for one.
Yes. I can show you these. I can help you make it. Although my teaching style is a bit more offhand, and you will be mostly making it yourself. Whilst I give
Nox's
instruction.
eyes would light up at that. That suits me just fine. But I would imagine it would have to be tomorrow or the day after, as it's getting late.
I cannot do tomorrow, as tomorrow's voting day. Gotta vote for the mayor.
Indeed.
But
Hopefully we'll
anyway,
still be in town the day after.
the day after would be good. Yes.
And I shall very much look forward to it.
I will be as well.
I shall see you then, and we shall take our leave.
Same to you.
And Nox would head out looking considerably more chipper than when he came in. And yeah, he would...
I have to admit, Druid, you are more complex than I thought. I never pictured you in a dwarf's forge.
I love to craft. It is a fascination I have had for a long time. I've always been whittling things out of wood and various other things. And ever since I've been able to craft as much as I want and carry it around with me, he sort of taps his pocket where the little hut is, then I have found even more enjoyment in it, as I never have to leave anything behind. And with such knowledge as that of a forge, I could make a far more formidable array of weapons and supplies to keep us going.
Impressive.
At the moment, my warhammer that I have in there is stone and wood, but if I could make the head of it out of iron or some other metal, I would imagine it'd be a great deal more dangerous.
I have to admit, I've always been more of an appreciator of skills. Find myself without what I would like to have often enough that I make do with whatever is available.
Yes, I like to be adaptable, for sure.
As you enter the town square, people are going all of a ruck. However, Fenrir, you see something that catches your eye. You see a banner on a suit of armor on someone who you do not recognize. The symbol of such you do, however. It is the silver dagger.
You see, when you said there was a bear on a suit of armor,
A banner.
Banner.
I just pictured a live bear standing on someone.
The bear and the maiden fair.
I'm like, oh, that would catch my eye.
He is not looking at you, but you can clearly see the banner.
Hmm.
And Nox, you also see the same.
And what is on the banner?
Oh, it's the silver dagger's emblem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nox might
Yeah,
put a hand on Fenrir's shoulder and like just hold him back slightly. Are you sure you want to? We could take another route around the back of the general store to the library.
It's best not to be too suspicious. Just avoid.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Right, yeah.
Don't be
The-
suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be
Let's
suspicious.
just remain on the other side of the crowd. I don't find I can be in any place for too long, but I would prefer not to be before our duty is done.
Well, we need to make our way to the library. The last thing we want to do is miss this opportunity.
Roll me,
I do
the
worry,
two
though.
of you. Roll me stealth.
Yeah, it does.
Yay, dice.
If I was actually going to be really... Okay, no, I'm going to go with that. 24.
Nice.
Oh, and an 18 from Fenrir.
I could add more to it, but I think I'm going to be okay with an 18.
I rolled the wrong dice, and you guys are
I was going to
so
say, because
lucky.
I was going to say, if we were going to be really stealthy, I would have used Pass Without Trace.
You guys are so lucky that I rolled the wrong dice.
What'd
I
you roll a
accidentally
D4? That was a
rolled a
good call.
D12, and I rolled a 12.
Oh god, if that had been a 20.
I know.
I could break a 20.
You guys are able to go around and over to the library without any issue or suspicion.
I'm glad you got that. Alright, yeah. Like, Nox would breathe a bit of a sigh of relief once I actually got into the library.
As you enter the library, it is as if you are entering the library at the university.
Oh. That was an impressive place.
Fenrir is very confused and surprised and shocked and awed. I've not seen a room like this before.
Nox, whilst the design is exactly how you remember it, the numbering system is not, and therefore confirms in your mind that this is not the university library.
He's still wondering if at any point Jens Sidric had any part in designing this.
On the placard outside, as you kind of take a double take, it says, Athena's Library. Established in a time. Let me just...
Beyond time ago.
I need to bring up the timeline really quickly. For just 2 seconds.
Fenrir just remark, it's bigger on the inside.
Established in the year 200.
I think I know the man who designed this. Well,
Which was very recently. As you guys are at the year 254.
true, but time moved differently here, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nox would just remark out loud, if I didn't know better, I would say this has got Jens Sidric's hands or fingerprints all over it.
As you enter, the receptionist looks at the both of you and goes, Are you both students?
Nox would, like, his eyes would be roaming around the room, and then as she speaks, they would, like, slowly work back in her direction until they lock onto her. And then say, yes, as a matter of fact.
What are you doing so far away from the university? I swear.
Headmaster sent us on a task.
Very well. Welcome to Athena's library. It is a branch off from the university's library. Over through those doors, as she shows a line of 3 doors, they will connect you back to the university's library.
Nox's jaw would just drop.
The Fenrir is just gonna like whisper over, like, north of the continent. I don't think this building is that long.
Nox would just gently pat him on the shoulder, like, they're there, while asking the librarian, and can we freely pass back and forth between the two?
Well, yes and no. The librarian over on the university side is a little more strict about allowing students through. However,
We know all about her.
on our side, we're encouraged to let any students back into the university.
Well, Jens Sidric gave us free passage as we saw fit, so I would imagine the courtesy would be extended. But we had never been aware of this. It took us a lot of work to get into the Kingdom of Ulf.
Well, the Kingdom of Ulf passage is more locked up than the rest of them.
How do the others lead?
Oh, all 3 lead to the university.
Just different areas of the vast library, I presume.
No, the same place. There is a hub space for all the branches.
And
Which
why
the doors
3?
lead. I'm sorry?
Then why 3 doors?
So multiple people can pass through at once. As well as multiple people can come in whilst others are going
suppose-
out.
Yes, it would get ugly quite fast if they collided. Fascinating. Well, that is very good to know, thank you. We are meant to be meeting someone here. Is there anywhere suitable we could wait?
Ah, yes, in the study rooms. And she points up, and as your eyes kind of go up, it's kind of like the same structure. So, like, there's a center bit where it's like completely open all the way up to the ceiling, with like
then
balconies going all the way up from the second floor up. As you see, the second floor is all like sort of like office rooms.
Hmm.
And she goes, second floor is dedicated to study rooms, as well as the 10th floor, the 15th floor, and the 20th floor. Fenrir, you are completely confused as this building is not tall enough to hold 20 floors.
Well,
He truly was a master craftsman. God, I miss the old dragon. Very well, thank you. And he would start to move away, still having a bit of a grip on Fenrir's shoulder and sort of like towing him along. As he's just like, no doubt looking around stupefied.
Also curious as to how 20 floors fit into what looks like a 3-story building.
That would be the third time he said this place is bigger on the inside.
Yep. Well, technically we're not in that building anymore. The door was just a portal.
Did we die?
No, we're quite alive. Don't you worry about that. This
It's like the place you go to after you die.
Really, you picture books.
I picture places not on our world.
Okay, well, you're not far wrong with that. This was all the crafting of a great dragon that I knew.
You knew a dragon?
Yes, one of the last. He was master of magic at the university until very recently.
I had only heard stories. I knew that they were receding away. I did not know where.
Yes, they are dying, as their blood seems to be turning on them. I do not know the full story. I had a friend who did, but alas, things never seem to go as we plan. But no, this is another world of sorts, and it links back to the university where I have spent a great many years. Good to see a little bit of home.
Oh, I
I'd rather see the forests of the university, but
No, I especially understand that. Well, this place is impressive. The lack of nature has me unnerved.
when we are done in the Kingdom of Ulv, I will likely take you to the university. You'll see it with your own eyes, and see that magic is nothing to be feared.
As you guys get into the study room, you wait a little while, and the door opens, and Ariel and Marcus walk through the door. Marcus shuts the door, puts up the silencing spell on the room, and goes, well, let's begin. And that is where we're going to end it for tonight.
Ooh.
Bit of a tease.
Yeah.
So that I can plan out what the hell's going to be in her head.
Yeah, and if she's willing or not.
That too. So, that is going to be it.
Well, we know she's been like blabbing her mouth, being like, "This is exactly what's going on," and they're just like, "We don't believe you. That's too innocent."
I would say that prior to her arrival, Nox would have put his crystal on that changes his face to a human look.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So as not to alarm her too much straight away.
Fenrir's going to resolve himself to guard duty.
Right, a few more notes. So Marcus has brought. Sorry.
Okay. Just writing down that you look like a human so that I don't forget.
Yeah, me too.
Anyways.
I'm getting better at keeping notes.
You see, people are going to now take that sentence out of context. Writing down that you look like a human just so I don't forget.
Yep, exactly. Anyways, that is where we're going to end it for today. We will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.